Well, hi everyone. It is great that you could join us on another one of our Raisley webinars. If you are new to Raisley, let me say a really warm welcome. I'm James. I oversee all our enablement and education. So if this is one of your first webinars jumping on, you're in for a real treat. We get to tackle an amazing topic today looking at peer-to-peers. But for all the rest of you who have been on many webinars, great to have you along. So right now, maybe a great idea would be to use the chat. Let me know that you are there. If you've opened Zoom for the first time, jump into the webinar chat and just do a quick shout out. Who are you? Where you're from? Location and organization. Let us know who is on this one as well. As I've got some of my wonderful colleagues on here. Hey, Heather, thanks for joining us. We've got Helga, Georgie, and Sunshine also on this webinar, who are from our amazing marketing and support teams, and they will be a great guide and help as you guys hopefully just enjoy a lot of the things that are happening in this webinar. So great to see sort of people come through. G'day, Scott from Coast Guard, welcome back. G'day, Dean. Hey, Molly, great to have you along. Hey, Kelly. All right, we've got a whole bunch of people sort of coming on in, and it's great that you could join us this morning. As I just said, my name is James. I head up education and enablement at Raisley, and it's a real joy that every month we get to run webinars that are really there to help you and guide you as you are in the driver's seat of your digital fundraising. Raisley is an incredible platform to be using, and so for you to learn how to use that platform to its full potential in all of your digital fundraising strategies is really at the core what we're trying to get out of our webinars. Today, we're going to be tackling peer-to-peers and all sorts of other things as well. Now, as I sort of kick off, we do want to make sure we acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we work, live, and play. And I come from the land of the Awabakal people, and that's up in Newcastle, just north of Sydney, Australia. And we're really thankful for all the elders, past, present, and future, and want to pay our respects. Now, what are we going to be doing today? We've got all sorts of things, but before we dive in, let me just give you a couple of little webinar tips. The first one is use the chat function to say hello, and that's great that you have been doing that. But secondly, if you have any questions over our webinar time, please use the Q&A feature. As I said before, Georgie, Helga, Sunshine are all there to help answer your questions. And if I see a few, I might try to answer as well. So do use that time to put in some of your Q&As at any time, and we'll have those answered. Over the webinar, we'll also have some polls that will go live as well. And they are there just to help us get some more insights from you as attendees so that we can make our webinars better in the future for you as well and get a really good understanding of when you need to be educated on certain areas. So that will come up as well. Don't worry about raising your hand. It's not a function that we're going to support, but thank you for those who do that. But do put any of the chats in the chat or questions in the Q&A session. Now, we've got a jam-packed session ahead of us. But before we dive into all peer-to-peer, for those who are new to Raisley, who are we? Well, Raisley is partnership with Keeler and Aplos, and together it's a full suite to enable non-for-profits around the world to have both best-in-class digital fundraising, CRM, and accounting practices as well. Raisley in particular is an incredible digital fundraising platform that really is there to serve all of your campaign needs, whether that be regular giving, donation forms, peer-to-peer events, appeals, match giving. There's so much that you can be doing in Raisley. And we're really thankful that we get to work with organizations absolutely tiny to absolutely massive over the globe. And so no matter what charity that you're coming from, Raisley's got an incredible solution to help you through. Raisley's a very, very flexible platform, which we love, and I'll be demonstrating a little bit today that you can do so much with it. But really behind Raisley is a passion to be for purpose over profit. We really are there to support you and partner with you as you seek the well-being of people and planet. So welcome to Raisley. If you are new, it's great to have you. Now, one of the things we want to reinforce is that you are in the driver's seat in Raisley. One of the great parts with Raisley, it's free for charities to be using. And the one caveat with that is you are in control. And to do that, what we want to make sure is that you're well supported as you're in the driver's seat. So great ways to do that is email our support team, support@raisley.com. You can also check out Raisely School, and that will give you a really good curated list of some courses that you can do to learn Raisely that only got released recently and is being developed every week. So please check out school.raisely.com. And also for other learning, you can check out our YouTube channel as well, which has some content there. We also have our blogs and also past webinars available. Now, what are we covering today? Now, we've got heaps on. Hopefully we can squeeze it into an hour. We'll see how we go. But one of the things we want to start with is, as an overview, what are peer-to-peer campaigns? And so for those who are maybe new to peer-to-peer, or those who are just seasoned, we'll get a bit of a refresher of what's the core value of a peer-to-peer campaign. We want to dive a little bit deeper into our benchmarkings for peer-to-peer as well. That kind of leverages off what we've already seen last month in our fundraising benchmarks, and this goes a little bit deeper to find some insights that we find are helpful for you. And then the big part of today's session, we're wanting to look at what are the levers that you control in your peer-to-peer and how can you best utilize them, particularly in applying on Raisely's new peer-to-peer template that's going to be released very, 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 very shortly, which we're really excited about. So there's a few things that we're going to go into as well. And at the end, please stick around so we can show you a few little different things and point you into what some of our future releases are, and also some further support guides as well. Now, as I said, if you've got any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. But why don't we dive on in? Well, I'm sure we've all got busy days, so why don't we have a look at what we're covering today? First question is, as we look to reimagine peer-to-peer campaigns, we need to sit back and go, all right, what is a peer-to-peer campaign? Well, at the core of it, a peer-to-peer campaign is a campaign that enables advocates to fundraise for you their way or yours. Now, classically, we see this in sort of three primary areas. One might be a peer-to-peer campaign that you have organized for people, or maybe call those themed fundraising. And that is when you're putting in front of people an activity to do that they can sign up and register, create their own fundraising page, do a challenge, shave a head, give up something, and in relation to that, drive advocacy for your cause to all their networks that and find new donors from. So really good examples of a, say, theme fundraising would be, say, Liptember. Great theme fundraiser that it really is an organized thing to encourage people to come in September, do this activity together and get to know the cause and advocate for the cause by finding donations from their network. The other one would be event fundraising. Now, this is typically where fundraising coincides with an in-person event. And this might be because you've got a cycling event or a running event, and you want that person to do that for a great cause, which is you. Well, you can offer them the ability to create a fundraising page to do their activity, and they can raise funds as they're doing this challenge. A really good example of that would be, say, Tour de Cure's Signature Tour, which is an incredible campaign. It's actually a bit of a niche campaign that does a lot of incredible fundraising for cancer research. And this is a good example of one of those peer-to-peer campaigns that sides itself up with an activity or an event and encourages people to raise money as they go on through as well. Now, the last one would be a community hub or a DIY fundraiser. And we put this in the camp of peer-to-peers because it has the same function. A community hub or a DIY is really when you're saying to anyone and everyone, hey, if you want to fundraise for us, you can. And it's really simple on a DIY platform to do that on. A good example for that would be something like Women's One, which is an in-memory campaign, which enables people to create a tribute page. They could do this anytime that they wanted. It's all self-service, but it's using all the same functions as a peer-to-peer by spinning up a great page in which people can share, and then donations can come through that page. So there's a quick explanation, hopefully, around what is a peer-to-peer campaign. And we'll take you through a little bit of demos on this a little bit later if you are new to peer-to-peers. But one of the things I would encourage is we kind of look at the fundraising benchmark stats of only 35% of those who use Raisely utilize peer-to-peer campaigns. These may really unlock some great potential for your organization because in a peer-to-peer campaign, there's a lot of exceptional value in this. The core value of a peer-to-peer campaign really comes on a few different levels. The first value is that you're engaging your advocates. Peer-to-peers are great because you're offering your sort of donor base a new experience, maybe a deeper experience with you by advocating for you, by growing into your cause. And that might be a terrific way to do it. It's also great because you can onboard new advocates who want to maybe, who don't know your cause, who don't know your charity, and they may be able to do something very tangible with you. On top of that, though, probably the core value of any P2P campaign is that you find network reach for your donor base. When you look to acquire new donors, that's not always easy from the existing email listing that you have or your social media pushes. Peer-to-peers can make an amazing dent into getting a larger, wider reach into a donor base that you could never reach before. And that's because you're enabling your fundraisers or advocates to fundraise for you and they're reaching out into their networks. This can be exceptionally valuable when you're looking at launching an appeal. It can be exceptionally valuable when you're looking at regular giving offerings. It can be exceptionally valuable if you're looking to recruit new people into that P2P that you're running. There's all sorts of ways that you can do just because a P2P really is a network reach opportunity for you. And that's really where we see P2Ps function throughout the year. A lot of charities will do 2 core P2Ps a year. You also have the space to run the evergreen ones like a community hub or a in-memory campaign. So really, they have some great value in that. And thirdly, probably one of the things I like on P2P campaigns is they can be really creative and they can really be a great time for your team to get behind something, whether that be a big one or a small one, but really sort of let those creative juices fly and have some fun engaging with people on the ground as well. So P2Ps offer some great value when you're looking at this too. Now, I hope that's a bit of a good overview into what peer-to-peers are, and there's so much more to it, and we will dive in to sort of really get you in the nitty-gritty of peer-to-peers for a moment. But if you have any questions about that, please put them over in the chat. We'll make sure they are answered. But in the meantime, I want to run a quick poll. And the poll is really there to get some insights for you around peer-to-peers. And I've got 3 questions for you. The first is, when are peer-to-peers campaign top of mind? We want to know that so that we can make sure our resources are timely for you. What's your P2P revenue expectation? And that really helps us sort of measure and create different strategies for you guys moving forward. And also, what P2Ps do you primarily focus on? Us developing new templates or things that are in product really helps us understand what your priorities are as well. So I'm going to quickly just launch these polls. They are going to go up there right now. So let's go. And you'll see we got the first poll up there at the moment. And it's the peer-to-peer focus. What type of peer-to-peers do you primarily focus on? If you could answer that, that would be brilliant. And we're seeing this sort of come on through. This is great. A real variance, right? In-person, virtual event, all-year fundraising. This is really an even splattering across all of them. This is terrific. Loving seeing this. Thank you so much for these insights. They're great. Heap 'em, Adam. Yeah, these are great. Thank you so much for the insights. All right. So it's roughly around sort of 50%, 40%, 50%. It really showing that you are using the breadth of what peer-to-peers can offer you as well. And we really want to encourage that. I'm going to end that poll and just go on to our next one. Let's go back. And this looking at P2P revenue. What is your P2P revenue expectation? Is it sort of under 20K, under 50, under 120, to 200, plus 200? It's really interesting with P2Ps because a lot of people will sort of put a lot of their eggs in the P2P basket if you're running an annual peer-to-peer event. Others sort of split and do smaller peer-to-peer events to engage specific segments within your database as well. So there's all sorts of different ways to do it. And this is really great to see on the revenue expectation that you have on this. In a little bit, I'm going to sort of help you sort of work out how to measure sort of predictable peer-to-peer revenue engagement. So, but that's really, really helpful for now. So thank you so much for that. And we'll make sure these polls get released to you as well. And then lastly, I want to have a quick look at the last one, which is, when are peer-to-peer campaigns top of mind for you? All right, when are they top of mind? Now, this is really helpful for us. Like year round, that's fine. Definitely put year round if that's there. But it's good for us to sort of know where the splattering sort of fits around that too. So thank you so much for contributing to those polls. They're really, really helpful insights that we can take away and just ensure that you're getting the resources in the way that you need them as well. So I'm going to end that poll and we'll switch back over. So thank you so much for doing that. Now, why don't we dive in and have a look at some benchmarks? Now, there's a question up there, sunshine's all over it, so thank you, Shine, for doing that. But why don't we dive into some benchmarking? And this will, I hope, really result in you seeing what we see as a sort of a core contribution that Razy can make to you in order to help fundraising measuring fundraising or making P2P fundraising a little bit more predictable for you as well. So let's dive into benchmarks. Now, if you were with us for our annual benchmarks webinar last month, you'll see a few things. First of all, the average fundraising per donation averages around $80, whereas the average donation amount was $50. And we kind of see that trend typically has been roughly that over the years. Around 30% of our customers are using P2P, so there's lots of opportunities to grow. But you may be on here for various reasons. Maybe you're starting out or maybe you're wanting to go deeper. But one of the interesting ones that we do continue to come to is that 3.7 times increase if you utilize match giving. And so making sure match giving is a part of your P2P is going to be important. And last, we also saw that the donation 60-40 rule kind of applies. And that really is looking at 60% of people are donating under $50, 40% are donating over $50. And those typically gone pretty even for most of our campaigns. Now, that was in our annual benchmarks. But one of the things we've done over this last few weeks is we wanted to get insights from a focused selection of peer-to-peers in 2024. The reason for this is that whenever you're looking and crunching the data, Razy has a lot. And one of the things with peer-to-peers, they're all so different and offering different concepts and that. And having a focused selection of particular peer-to-peers within 2024 enables us to look at the general advocacy peer-to-peer campaign, what's happening in those ones. And just sort of pushing out the outliers is helpful. Just to know that the data is based on campaigns that with over 500 profiles activated. That means profiles that have raised their first dollar. And they're also non-event based peer-to-peers. They're the classic getting these people out there fundraising. The data takes into account over 220,000 donors with over 35,000 fundraising profiles. And we've gone through and looked at every one of these campaigns specifically to make sure it's a general grouping of very, very similar like-for-like campaigns. And it's really great that Razy has the ability to do this over so many, which is kind of cool. So here's some of the things that we learned from that. Firstly, our median raised per profile is $348.40. As I say, we pull a median from this because there are enormous outliers when it comes to peer-to-peer campaigns. But from this large selection that we got, it's $348.40 is a baseline for what is raised per profile. And that's going to help us a little bit looking at how do we predictably maybe measure our revenue base based on how many profiles what we're aiming for. So we can have a look at that in a moment. Next one is $70 is actually the average donation amount. When we looked at our fundraising benchmarks widely over all campaigns, it's a little bit higher than that. On this focus selection in 2024, it was around $70. It's slightly under, about $69.50, but it ran up to $70. About $70 is what the average donation amount is that is coming through for each of these profiles. Now, one of the things we wanted just to quickly double check and sense check was basically a stat that we've known for a while, and that's always sort of been there, is the concept of engaging in customizing someone's profile page. And the three primary ways people do that is they add their name, they add an image, and they add a description. Now, there are other things as well, like fundraising goal and things like that, but really it's name, image, and description. And we wanted to come back and just have a look at those insights and to see what was around that. And what's fascinating, like always, is that a custom photo. So when someone actually uses their own photo on a fundraising platform, it's 30% higher activation rate. We looked at one particular campaign, very, very large campaign, and it was 71% of those who adjusted their photo activated compared to 40% of those who didn't. So there's a real big jump up on activation space on them activating a photo. The other one was the custom photo. We saw over a 200% increase in the fundraising total. This is pretty insane. As I said before, the particular campaign we really grilled into, it was 341% increase on the if on their fundraising total. So there's a huge insight into and a real reminder that helping people activate is not just the only thing you worry about. You worry about people personalizing and getting their page ready so they can activate as well. Because it really does push the thing. So we can come back to those as well. I really love some of these insights. We'll keep growing these insights over the year for you because we want to make sure the data that Raising does get in becomes great findings for you as well. But we're going to take these today and we're going to sort of build on them as we go through as well. Now, one of the things I did mention before, if the median amount fundraised is $348.40, then one of the things that's going to be great with that is we can kind of work out some predictability around how many profiles you need to raise a certain amount of money. Now, my assumption is that many of you already do this. This is not a new task for you, but for some, this will be brand new. But say, for example, this was just using Canva code, by the way, which is a fun little tool. It's just ChatGPT in Canva, which is kind of rad. But a good little calculator to go, if I want to raise 120,000 on my peer-to-peer, based on that median of $348.40, I'm going to need 345 active profiles to reach that target. And as you can see, it's split out into 25% of target, 50% of target, 75% of target. This is really helpful. And what was surprising with this is that when we actually ran this calculator and ran it back over all of the ones that we pulled in to do some testing on, it was actually quite surprisingly accurate. It was definitely off because the median doesn't apply to everyone bang on. It's a median out there. But it was really interesting seeing that actually this calculator is working pretty predictably. And so one of the things that is great with something like this calculator is that you can go, awesome, I'm going to nut down and work out if I want $120,000 coming through my peer-to-peer campaign, it's 345 active profiles I am needing. And that can be a great little benchmark just to get in there as well. So we will share these slides with you. If you want to use the calculator, go nuts and have some fun with that. But making peer-to-peer fundraising a little bit more predictable can be very helpful. All right. So I'm going to pause on there for just some of the benchmarks, allow some space for questions as well. Yeah, Lauren, I'll totally make it available for you. I can even share the ChatGPT prompt that we did in Canva code for you with that as well. But if you've got any questions around benchmarking, please make sure you use the Q&A section in there to write down your questions so the team can get onto that as well. So put hands down, put a thing in the Q&A section. That would be brilliant. And our team will be able to answer that. Now, as we sort of move forward, what we're trying to look at is not just benchmarking. We want to move into and like tangible insights that you can be taking into your campaigns. And so to do this, oh, where's my thing? There we go. Oh, why is it going to the end? There we go. What? No idea where it went. All the way to the end. There we go. Bingo. We want to look at what are the peer-to-peer levers that you can control. Now, we know that with peer-to-peers, as I said before, the database we had was on the previous one was they're all very varied. Like we have some exceptionally successful campaigns revenue-wise, but you may on some of them see 25% of profiles activated, whereas on other ones it was like 92% activated. There's so much variability around peer-to-peer campaigns, and there's no one way to do it, but there are things that you do control. And that's what we want to be focusing on to help lift your benchmark on how to build just really good, clean, successful, slightly predictable campaigns, which you can continue to test, A/B test, elevate, add on, and do some different things into. So here's what we want to be focusing on. What are the levers? And there are 5 primary ones, and we're going to just run through them. After we run through them, I'm going to show you in the product how you'd apply them. Now, the first one is going to be sign up funnel. The sign up funnel is really important. When someone comes to a peer-to-peer campaign, most likely they'll land on the page and there's going to be a big button that says register or sign up or get involved. This button is likely going to take them over to a sign up form within Raisely, where people can put their details in, both their user details, their fundraising details, and create from that a fundraising page for them, personalized for themselves to share with friends. So sign up funnel is the first point of call. And there's a quick little thing to start understand is that time is not your friend, but you get more if the time feels purposeful. And this is where we come with our Google Analytics. If you run your analytics through sign up conversion, you'll see people don't give you much time before they drop off or sign up. Really is time is not your friend. But here are 3 things that can kind of help through that. The first would be, first question needs to be easy. Now, typically in most campaigns, your first step is going to be asking them for their details. First name, last name, information that they already know about. Some of your campaigns, though, I've noticed over the last year, particularly as we do a lot of work with Built by Raisely, is that you are asking them for location, or you are asking them for like a pre-question before they get to the sign-up form. And they can be really helpful if that question is really easy for them, such as, which location am I going to go to? Most people know what location they're going to go to. And that first question, if they can answer it, gives them a good sense of feeling going, oh, I can do the rest. So that first question needs to be easy. And so making sure that's nice and clear for them is helpful. The second one, which is kind of interesting, is balance simple versus complex forms. And we see very variant based on what people do with their forms. Here's what we're sort of toying around with. If you have a really simple form, first name, last name, email address, fundraising name, and away you go. One of the issues with that can be it was a little bit too easy, and that your engagement with that person has kind of not really brought them in on the sign-up process. Versus complicated forms, which might be, I need your address. I need to know all your preferences. I need you to write a full description. I need you to go and find the best photo you can possibly find. Complicated forms can just cause registration drop-off, right, or form incompletion. And you guys know this. And I think it really is a balancing act in looking at these. And some of the things that I would encourage when we're looking at the sign-up funnel is ideas of hiding things that they can do post-registration, such as team creation can be a great post-registration step. You can also hide out the photo and description as a post-registration step, but you can ask them questions that get them more involved in the actual sign-up process, like what really is your motivation for doing this? How close are you to our cause? You can be asking them a few questions that give you more data that sort of add a little bit more complexity to it, but don't make it a complex form. So really just working out this balancing act within your forms can be really helpful. And lastly, focus on impact as motivation. I was not a massive fan of fundraising goals for quite some time. I felt like they're a little bit superfluous. And I've kind of come back around on that a little bit, that the fundraising goal step can be a really great opportunity in there to apply impact into your sign-up form and to remind people around that. The other option in Raisely too is that you can put little descriptive fields into your form on the different steps that remind people of the impact that they're going to be having as well. You can surround your form with things that are around impact too, which is kind of neat. So there's all sorts of things that you can do to focus in on impact. One of the things I really love is, I'll get to it in a little while, is If you can get someone to set their fundraising goal based on the impact, you can show them how many donors will you need to get to that goal. So really coming back into a focus on impact as motivation will be really good. And I'm assuming a lot of you know that already, but it's a good reminder, and there's some little tricks that we can show you on how you could do that best as well. If the first one was sign up funnel, the second one is first touch. And here you got 4 primary options for first touch. What we mean by first touch is that when someone signs up, the page loads, they get put on their dashboard page, or they get an email sent to them, what is the first thing that you are asking them to do? Now, there are 4 options that you have for people. The first one would be, are you ready? Sharing anything is not easy. It's a very public, and for people to do this for particular things can be quite personal as well. And so sometimes people want to understand, is my page ready to share? And so ready to share means, is the description updated and good enough? Is my photo good enough to be put on this because it's a public photo on there? There are things that getting your profile ready to share that you really need someone confidence with. And that might be your first point of contact. That might be your first touch with them. Hey, update your profile photo if there's not one there, to help them want to share it. The second first touch could be literally share. Just go and share your page. Hit the dashboard page, big thing comes up, share your page. Here's how to do it. And that really is going to be the heartbeat of any peer-to-peer campaign, getting network reach, sharing this page with as many people as possible on as many channels as they possibly can. The third one is interesting, I see very underutilized, and this is the concept of recruit. Basically, giving people a referral link where they can send to their friend can sign up, but you also have a record on your database of who was that person who recruited them, and therefore you can do some fun things with that data. Recruitment could be as simple also as getting the kids signed up or engaging in the workplace. So I'm going to come back to this one in just a moment. But first touch could be for some, hey, recruit. And this might be a really good one for those who are coming back to the campaign for the 3rd year or 4th year. The last one would be team. Do you create a team? Now, yes, we do see a higher fundraising total come through when people are part of the team, but there are particular team strategies around that can apply. But maybe first touch is going to be team. Ensuring that you're communicating the first steps in the right order is going to be important. And there's some really fun things on the dashboard page now with the new template that you can be doing as well. Now, the next one is how you scale. And this is kind of what I'm coming back to on the recruitment side. The recruitment is all about helping existing fundraisers to recruit more fundraisers. If one of your primary goals in a peer-to-peer is to extend network reach, one of the best ways to do that is get your existing fundraisers, who may be returning fundraisers particularly, to actually get new people to come on board on that. Now, this is not new, but working a strategy on how to do this can be really effective. Now, the most simple one is if you've got mum or dad, they sign up, they can get their kids a fundraising profile. That's going to give you a little bit more network reach. What's even better would be getting your fundraisers to go, oh, do you know what? I could create a corporate page as well. Now I've signed up as an individual. I can now create an organization page, and I can invite others in my company to do this with me as well, and we can create teams. So that might be an option. Or friends and family, having a simple referral link that you can just send to people that goes, hey, sign up with me. I would love to do this with you. But it captures who it came from. You can then celebrate the person who did recruit, encourage them to do it again, and really fostering this concept of team creation. And really what you're looking at is you're looking at how to scale network reach through recruitment strategies around there as well. So that's a really, really big and important one. Fourthly, I hope you guys are staying with me, raising more. How do you motivate every fundraiser to reach their fundraising potential? Well, first of all, segmenting to up donor count. One of the things that we see so much is people focusing on fundraising total rather than the donation count total. One thing that your fundraisers cannot control is how much they fundraise, because someone might give $50, which is typically the average of what we see people give. The average was $69, but the most common amount is $50. But you don't know whether someone has someone in their life who just wants to give a lot of money to them for their fundraiser. You got no idea. You got no idea whether someone goes out and, do you know what? Their potential really was only about $20. But if you look at their donor count, that is far more valuable for you because, first of all, going back to the value of peer-to-peers, expanding your new donor acquisition. But two, if you understand donor count, you can help people make this more predictable over something that they can actually control. How do you control donor count? I just need to share more. So if you can say, hey, you set a target at $1,200 for your fundraising goal, super. It's going to take this, if you know that $70 is the average donation amount that people make, divide that by 1,200 divided by 70, you'll know how many donors it takes them to get there. In a Raisely campaign, you can make it so on the dashboard page, it'll tell them exactly how many donors they need more to reach their goal. That they can control. It might just be that they haven't shared it really well enough. They've only shared it on one platform. They can maybe do another one. There's awesome things that you can do in regards to segmenting up on your donor count as well. Now, other one is sharing is caring. Sharing is everything with a peer-to-peer campaign. And so making sure that's easy for someone to do is a really cool new feature, what I love in Raisely that lets you do this. And lastly is match giving. Putting match giving periods, spicing them through your campaign can have a dramatic effect, particularly if you just run like a one-off, one-day, special day match giving. It encourages people to share more. Donor count goes up, donations go up. It can be a really, really good, effective method is utilizing match giving. And lastly, present impact. Celebrate impact through personalized storytelling to go deeper. Now, this is actually usually, this is our next webinar. Our next webinar next month is all about how to create impact stories in Raisely that you can present to people and basically upsell into regular giving or into the next appeal or into the next peer-to-peer. But presenting impact, understanding where their dollars went to, how is it going to impact you as a charity is so important. Visualizing that, putting it through story, putting it through narrative, putting it through imagery, and giving someone a thing at the end of their campaign to say, wow, that was really worthwhile, no matter what they donated, but also giving them the stats on how they went so you can maybe motivate them for next time is going to be really grateful. And 3 areas for it: post-campaign landing page, register interest for next year, regular donation plug. These are 3 things that you can do to present impact at the end. So they're kind of the levers that you have available: sign-up funnel, first touch, how you scale, raising more, and present impact. And these are things that you can be controlling. And what we want to do now is show you how you control those in Raisely, particularly. But first, are there any questions before I dive in and show you the new peer-to-peer template? Please put some questions in there if you like. I always love seeing them, even though I'm not the one answering them. But if there's any more questions, do make sure you put those in there. I do want to make sure we pause a little bit for that because I just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Okay. What we might dive into, interested in peer-to-peer for events. Great, Steph. I can show you a whole bunch of different things in regards to that. Now, some of the things, what we want to do now is Raisely. If you're new to Raisely, welcome. But many who use Raisely for a while, you'll know this. But Raisely at the core of it has 3 primary functions. When we want a campaign, we're talking about a campaign site, we're talking about campaign messaging, and we're talking about a campaign database, which is going to store your data around that. And I've kind of broken this next section up into those 3 areas, looking at the campaign site, looking at campaign messages, and looking at campaign data to give you a few specific tips on what you can be doing in your peer-to-peer campaign to elevate. The very first tip, which is super exciting, is late last year, we started a project and that was revamping all of our templates. There are some available in the wild at the moment that you may have been using, and I can show you those in a little bit. But one of the ones that we spent a good amount of time developing is our peer-to-peer template. And it's so close to being ready out of the oven and in your hands. But what I can do today is show you it, which is really exciting, and some of the features that are available. Do note that all these features that are available on this template are available now. You can use those in the campaign, in any of the campaigns. It's just that there's some certain things we've done in the peer-to-peer to make that a little bit simpler for you. But why don't we dive in and let me do a quick little show and tell. All right, drum roll, please. Here's our new peer-to-peer template. Now, some of the things that you'll notice in this is that with our peer-to-peer template, it's adopting some of the same styling as our recently released templates. What we're trying to do with templates is ensure that your brand can fit best, your visual brand can fit best on any template. So really what we're doing is all the templates we release have the same visual style, and that's to help you not get too distracted by design preferences by Raisley, so you can insert your own, but it just gives you that consistency to work with. But as you see, one of the things what we've done also is just updated the narrative a little bit as well. We want to make sure that people can see what the impact is that you're having in your campaign. And this can be a really great row to be utilizing maybe a third of the way through your campaign or half the way through your campaign. You can even automate this row so it appears when you hit a certain fundraising target, which is great. You also have some simple layouts in regards to how text can be laid out, particularly to make sure it's responding really well to mobile. Really what we've gone through in this template on design-wise is something that is very clean and uncluttered, which is kind of fun. What we also use is the feed block, which is a great block to put short form content as well. And you can sort of see that the narrative for this is nice and simple going through. One of the things we've also done is on many of the pages, we put a frequently asked questions section on the pages that it matters. This is kind of fun because what we had a look at was frequently asked question pages and are they utilized all that much? And typically it's a bit of a mixed bag. What we do know though is if we put frequently asked questions on page that are specific to the page that they're on, we're going to see far better guidance for someone going through. So this can be a really, really great little feature to put on many of the pages that you utilize as well. As you see, you got a little ribbon up the top for the campaign that you can be putting different things up, and you can condition these out and make these automated if you want to as well. But let's have a look at some of the other pages. You got to find or support a friend. Nice and simple page. All right, go here, find Jenny Smith. And you've got Jenny's available, right? You can just go straight to the profile. Or if you just want to make a general donation, you've got a basic pop-up modal that can make a donation, something really clean and neat that's kind of nice to be using. Other ones that you have is you could go to the sign-up page. Oh, that's the wrong page because I can't spell. There we are. And here on the sign-up page, you've got an individual sign-up form here. But if you wanted to sign up for an organization, you could click here and go to another page, which is the sign up organization page. The reason this is important is what this does on the block here is it won't create them an individual profile when they register an organization. It will just create them an organization page, which is nice and helpful because a lot of people who create an organization page don't want an extra individual page on top of that as well. It's something they can do later on. And they can also check whether their organization was already registered. So a really minimal sign-up form that you can be putting through as well, making it nice and uncluttered. Some of the other pages we have that we made big updates to is the dashboard page. Here we got Welcome Jenny, but you also have a little section here for Start Here. We also knew that the existing peer-to-peer templates out there were so cluttered with so much to do. We want to help people navigate the important dashboard page because it's your place for communication. And so using the feed block by putting a nice little message here, using the feed block also allows you to put multiple of these on a carousel run so that you can be putting numerous messages in here, kind of like an onboarding experience. So you'd have start here 1/3 and then you can go to the next one. But great little place to put messaging in there. You've got a simple space for fundraising pages. You've got the start team. which goes to a simple pop-up, which they can just create a team profile that will automatically get created, or they can search for a new team as well down the bottom here. You've got the classic donation thank options. Again, FAQs are available here, and this is going to be helpful because when someone lands on the dashboard page, you want to answer all their questions for them. And then lastly, a little section for resources. Now this can be adjusted for what you need, and I'll get to the little Canva templates section in just a little bit as a good idea to have. Lastly, if you go to the profile, you can see an update to the profile page. Cleaner, neater, well-designed, and really responsive on mobile, which is kind of neat. We've got the share others, we've got the QR code, we've got this little new block here, which is share with others, which is kind of neat, which I'm a big fan of. So there's all sorts of little things that you've got here that you could be using. You can also go over to the team page. You can have a look at the clean team page that's there, search for a team member. You've got share with others, which is going to be the primary action, call to action on a team page is to share the page with others rather than donate. So you got all this. Now, hopefully, as you look at so much of this, and sort of maybe particularly with the dashboard page, is you're like, all right, it's okay, wonderful. What the thinking was behind this template was a concept that you can now add to a really strong foundation rather than removing things from a cluttered foundation. So what that means is there's so many other things you can do in Raisely. And some of the things, there's some other blocks you can be putting in, such as activity tracking and other things like that. But one of the core elements is personalization, is ensuring that on the site, you're speaking to the person who's registered on your peer-to-peer. And there's some really cool ways in which you can be doing this, and I'll show you this in a sec. What we wanted to do is with all of our templates, design things that you can now add the functions to Raisely in to make it unique to yours, but with a platform that is super strong on how it converts. It's simple, it's clean, it works. And so we're really excited to get this into your hands over the next coming weeks that you can be utilizing as well. Now, one of the things I will quickly share with you is how on earth you can maybe grab this at some point. Just so you know, I have signed up for the Raisely version 4 beta, and this is the look I get on the front. I love it. So if you've seen the little beta advertisement for Raisely 4, use it because you get a little campaign page that looks a lot like this, and it's much easier to manage your campaigns. But if you go to create a campaign, you'll be seeing very shortly the new P2P one available here under featured. All of our featured campaigns, they are our most latest updates campaigns, and I'd really recommend starting with these ones. The ones you have here are for wonderful appeals, and the peer-to-peer one will be dropping here as well very shortly. If you need your peer-to-peer today, I'd probably suggest you choosing this one. It's pretty similar to what I've shown you today as well. So there's some really good features around on your featured ones. Typically, I don't really go to many of these ones these days. I look at the latest and the new ones because they're great. All right. Now, let me show you something a little bit about what we want about personalization. Now, this is one of the things I love about the dashboard page is that one of the things we've done is all of this is one row. So say, for example, you capture in your sign-up form, how many times have you done this campaign before? Well, one of them might be going, yeah, I've done this campaign 3 times. How you speak to that person needs to be wildly different than how you speak to a person who's doing it for the first time. How do you do that? Well, it's all going to be in your dashboard page because that's your place of communication. So what I've actually done on the dashboard page, if we go into the P2P template, go to Pages, Dashboard, you can see here that I've got a few different rows available. I've got this row, I've got this row, and then I've got different rows set up for my different experience. Now, I can hide and show rows based on the data that I've captured. So let me show you an example. If I go into Jenny's page and I put in a query, it's not amount, alt, true. You can see that now, if I'm a second time donor, second time fundraiser, I'm getting different messaging. The first one is I can make it so it has a button that says upload a profile photo if there's not a profile there. And that's going to be really helpful because that can just go straight over to there. You can open the profile editor up and away I go. What's even easier though is I can change the entire look and feel of the campaign as well, adding new colors, different things. And I can also put in different messaging, such as welcome back to your fundraising dashboard. You know the ropes, this is the space. So really helpful ways in which you can now, rather than this hugely cluttered dashboard page, it's a really simple dashboard page, all bound around different rows. So just create different row experiences for people as well. One of the other things that I'd love to show you in this, so that's one with dashboards, is little things like this. Now here it says click to send a friend to a friend, and if I click this, it just copies it to the clipboard. Now what this is a really interesting new block that we designed late last year. So it's not that new, it's been out for a while, so a lot of people don't know about it. And it's called the clipboard button. The best part about the clipboard button is I can be putting in whatever copy I want in this. I've also got different styles for it too. So say, for example, I wanted to show people what was in the text copy. I could hit display and it does that. That's on the older template. I'll show you in a different context in just a sec. The reason it does that, I won't show you now. I'll show you on a different context. But what you can be putting in here, for example, is a referral. So here, one of the concepts would be, you can go, hey friends, oh, would you join me in this fundraiser? And when someone clicks to copy, it's going to copy the value that's in there, and they can simply paste that into into their social media feeds, and multiple of them. Where this gets really good is if you go into a profile page, because right here we're using the same block, as you can see. Now this is the display option, and as you can see, it's displaying the link in here. But you don't have to display this, but really if someone hits copy link, it does this. But you could change this button to hide out the value there, just have the text that says click and share on socials. When they click that, the concept behind it was that they would then share to one of their social media feeds, whether that be Facebook Messenger, Instagram, or whatever. And when they do the first one, they get a little gentle surprise that, wow, all this content's pre-filled for me. That hopefully, that little like, wow, that was easy moment makes them go, oh, I'll SMS this as well. Oh, I'll put this on WhatsApp too. Oh, I'll put it on Insta, Facebook, or wherever it is. And suddenly they're actually sharing to multiple social feeds in which they have to increase their donor network. And this is where I really love this thing. You can pre-fill it with all sorts of different things. You can personalize the pre-fill as well using merge fields. When they copy that link, it's going to give them a particular message that they can go, wow, that was really helpful. I can just send. No more hesitation in regards to sending and sharing. And I really encourage that because this little block, man, I'm having some fun with it at the moment. So really good. And my encouragement is to put like a little referral link in there so that if someone does click on this, you can track it as well, which I really recommend. So some fun little things that you can be exploring there within the new profile. And so hopefully that has sort of whet your appetite into some of the fun little things you can be doing. That's not what I'm after. I'm after this. All right, campaign messages. Let me show you a quick template that I whipped up that I'd really encourage you to have a look at with your peer-to-peers as well. So let's open up our messages. Now, campaign messages are going to really be at the heart of any peer-to-peer campaign. Running multiple ones, making sure they're personalized is going to be a really good time investment for you. But making sure that the actual emails are effective is even more worthwhile. I see a lot of different campaigns that come on through with Raisley, and they are failing on some of the primary things when you look at an email. The first primary thing with an email is you do not have time for consumption. It really is that emails are designed to be a call to action. So taking inspo from e-commerce emails is a far better practice. And one of the things you'll see from all the email marketing platforms when they do their insights for us, we see that the average, the good average for highest conversion on an email is around 75 words. Just so you're aware, that is exactly 75 words. It's not much. But if you can make this shorter, so the roughly guide is between 50 words and about 120 words. So 75 is a good ballpark. But this is all you got. This is all the space that you have for it. Having smaller content and a really clear call to action can be really, really effective. Other easy ones is making sure it's branded, making sure it's people are knowing it's from you. So good little logo set up on the top, solid little logo with social media icons on the bottom, or we've got some code to help you do that is really helpful. But also one of the little neat ones is make it interactive, make it exciting when someone's joined this. So here, all this is a new file format called a WebP. I'm not sure if you've used a WebP file or not, but Google developed this file type called WebP. So if you're in Photoshop, you can export an image in WebP. And the best part about WebPs is they are small in size. They're a compressed image, really designed for optimal web performance. The nice part with the web, so every single image that I ever upload into a campaign in Razorly is always in WebP format. And you can either export them in Canva, Photoshop, or use like compression generators like Tiny PNG. But one of the fun things that you can do with a WebP format is you can animate these things. So the image I just showed you before on this one here is actually just one file. It's just animated. It's low in file size, which means it will load. And if someone's coming through and their email's getting through and they're not using Outlook, which blocks images, but they may approve the images or whatever, it's going to come through and people are going to see life on your email. A big encouragement to do something simple like this. There's a great website you can go to called EaseGIF, ezgif.com. And it has an animation generator in there. I use that every now and again for WebP formats as well. So really cool emails, really simple, nothing crazy, but running with the core principles of your email marketing as well. Now, the last one we want to get to is understanding your data. That's a little concept about what 75, not characters, 75 words is. So there you go. All right, lastly, campaign data. Now, a quick little word on campaign data. One of the things is that you are wanting to capture as much as you possibly can for your CRM. Totally get that. Always know that you have further opportunities to capture data the more engaged they are, which is great. You can also look in Razorly, and I've got a little tutorial coming up on how to hide different fields to use later on. It's a really cool little feature. But one of the things I'd encourage you to capture in your data is things that are meaningful that you can then use to personalize your campaigns out. Some of my recommendations on your user settings, capturing year of birth is more successful than capturing date of birth. In order, one of the other sides is capture postcode is far more effective than capturing address. And postcode I love because you can split that through all your social media advertising spend to ensure that people in those vicinities are getting that as well. So it gives you some insights. It also gives you great analytics to work out if we've got a P2P or we may be thinking of running an event somewhere, we can kind of know geographically where we can maybe put it. The other side is I love the one proximity to cause, and you may have heard me talk about this before. This is a great one to understand what are the degrees of separation that you are, that your campaign, your charity is for the person who's signing up. So say, for example, if you're an animal rescue, you may ask, do you own a dog? If they answer yes, say, did you get it from a rescue? Understanding that information can be so important to helping drive deeper and segmenting out your data so you can offer people different personalized experiences. When it comes to fundraising data, which is in sort of the next step of the form, where you're capturing data for their fundraising page, one of the ones is all around motivation. Why are you doing this? It can be a really, really good one to have in there, but I really recommend asking them, is this your first time doing this? Is this your second time doing this? Another really helpful one can be in the fundraising data is what's your preference for what's your preference for advertising? Is it, are you going to be pushing it out on Facebook Messenger, on WhatsApp? Understanding those little preferences can help you design particular things for them. So if you know that they picked, oh, do you know what? Instagram is probably my favorite way I'm going to be sharing my content on, then awesome. It means that on their dashboard page, you can make sure there's some ready-made Insta images that they can use, or in Canva, they can do different things as well. Oh, I forgot the Canva mention. I may maybe come back to that. So when it comes to data, a big encouragement is to look at what capture what you use, because with a new template, you've got so much great flexibility to utilize that for. Now, I did realize I actually forgot one little thing I can quickly show you because it's a fun little feature and I'd encourage you to be using it. If you go into someone's dashboard, go into use Canva templates. In resources, one of the things you can now do in Canva is copy a template link from Canva. If you grab that link and you embed it into a button on here, suddenly when someone clicks on use our Canva templates, it'll create that template automatically within their own Canva account. And that can be a plethora of great resources that they can update and personalize and then upload into their profile photos, or they can share with others as well. So a cool little thing with Canva template links. Big encouragement to do that. It helps people play with different things as well. Now, I have totally hit my spend on time. We're at 12 o'clock. Let me sort of finish off with some little things that will help you guys work out some next steps. First off, if you want to find support with Raisely, a great opportunity will be to go to support@raisely.com to email through any questions. If you want to have a look at Raisely School, do check out school.raisely.com and you'll have a curated list of some great courses. Check out the message one and the page builder one. They are really good for people who've been using the platform for a while. Other one is check out our YouTube channel too. Now, if you are needing support, if resources are really tight, if you're needing a campaign up and out, do consider looking at Built by Raisely, where we can build the campaign for you and work alongside your team to train them up really well in using Raisely in the future as well. So do check out Built by Raisely. What's coming later this year? Well, there's a few little things. Raisely School is out, which I was telling you before. We also have native integrations with Keela. So if you are looking for a great CRM, I really suggest have a look at Keela. It's a brilliant CRM for the medium-sized non-for-profit. And so I'd encourage you to have a look at that. There's a native integration now in Raisely that you can be utilizing, which will be brilliant. Other things is, yes, there's new templates coming, and we'll make sure you know all about when the new P2P template is up and ready for release. And also Raisely dashboards is still in the back burner, working with engineering time to make sure this is a great offering for you down the track. Now, thank you so much for everyone who joined our webinar today. Your time is really valuable, and we are so thankful we get to partner with so many amazing charities like yourselves in how you can up your digital fundraising. If you've got any questions, reach out to support, but I'll see you at the next webinar, hopefully. See you soon, guys. Have a lovely rest of the day. Bye. No worries. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Amelia. Thanks, Grant. Have a wonderful day, guys. I hope it's a really fruitful one. Thanks, Jenna. No worries, Molly. Cheers. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.